Hi, we're here at Live to Ride in Frome for the next in our continuing series of videos and features about bike fitting. I'm here with Jez Loftus, who's Trek's bike fitting guru, or one of them.
We've been training up about 100 of our dealers to become bike fitters over the last year, so that's been my job last year. So yeah, we're going to walk you through that fit process.
And as I say, we've done a number of different, this is the third bike fitting we've done. We've done one with me on a Santos, which is more geared towards sort of touring and commuting, and Matt Brett's done one on Viner, and he's actually having a bike custom built, so it's sort of his is about that. But the philosophy with yours is to do with flexibility, as I understand.
Yeah, so we will measure your flexibility and fit the bike to you, not fit you to the bike. So it all depends on how flexible you are and your goals and aspirations as well. So I want to get a bit of performance out of you as well. So we'll gear the fits a bit to the performance angle as well.
So is Trek's bike fitting service, is it all about selling somebody a Trek, or are you offering the fitting to people with injuries, or both? Or
I mean, for the dealers, it's always good to sell more bikes, yeah, but a lot of it is service. So you should not be riding a bike in pain. We want you to be comfortable on bikes, and we want you to come in to see one of our dealers and get properly fitted to one of our bikes. That's the whole sort of theory behind it all. We also, rather than just offer one sort of standard bike, we offer different fits to our bikes, talking top tube length and head tube height.
Right.
So we do that to enable different people with different flexibilities to be able to ride all our bikes. You can go in there with confidence that you'll be correctly fitted to whatever bike they come in with. Yeah, I mean, it'd be great if they're fitted to a Trek, but no, it doesn't have to be one of ours. I mean, we've trained our dealers to just give you a better fit at the end of the day. Yeah.
Right. Out of interest, is there any particular things that people tend to get wrong when they're fitting themselves, if you see what I mean?
Yeah, the classic one, like crank length, bar widths, and a lot of it, bar height in relationship to saddle height as well, is quite a sort of misnomer where people should be. With, like I said, a fit process isn't a fit by numbers. You can't do it by plugging in your dimensions into a computer and it comes out with the correct angles and lengths. It's a dynamic process, so we're going to be doing it on a turbo trainer. So we'll look at you on your current bike, see what you're like, and then we're going to translate the position you've got there onto here, and we're going to tweak your fit to the sort of optimum position of where you want to be.
Sounds great. Let's go.
I've interviewed him already, and that's possibly one of the most important parts of the process. We've spent about half an hour with him, just going over things like injuries. I've measured his flexibility, where he wants to be on the bike in terms of his goals and aspirations. And we're going to use that to direct his fit. The funny thing about him, though, he's actually very flexible on one side and not as flexible on the other side. He could have some
twisted
sort of...
even.
Yeah, possibly a bit twisted. There's a bit of discrepancy going on there with the left-hand side, so the fit is a case of balancing left with right. Tone's back is actually pretty straight when you get him on the bench and doing his stretches. The bar for his shoulder width is way too wide at the moment. He's on a 44 bar. We're going to actually put him on a 38 bar. That is his shoulder width, 38 centimetres across. With his leg length discrepancy, what's going to help a bit there is moving to a shorter crank, and he's actually on a 175 crank at the moment. Going down to a 170 crank, which the bike has, will, I'm hoping, even out his leg length discrepancy. You'll notice a huge difference when we swap the bars more than anything else. That's.
I mean, yeah, it's got to be said, I'm so used to having a slight pain between my shoulder blades. No, I've already got it.
Yeah. Yeah, so hopefully that will relieve some of the pressure here as he brings himself up on the bar. And like I said, Tony's quite flexible, so I do want to try and drop him a bit as well, rather than just bringing him up. So yeah, we are going for a bit of performance fit as well as just purely comfort. The problem with Tony is he naturally locks his arms out as well, so we're going to try and get a bend into his arms. So let's go for it.
Right.
So we've got Tony, we're fitting into our new 3.1 Madone, which is our entry-level carbon bike. It's a good do-it-all training come sportive bike. So like I said, it's our entry-level carbon bike. But in particular, it's the fit story more than anything. So it's available in 2 different fits. This is the H2 fit, and that H corresponds to the head tube height here. We do an H3 fit, which will actually come with a higher head tube, and it'll also come back a little bit as well. A lot of blokes will actually fit that H3 fit very well. If you're a bit inflexible, got tight hamstrings, poor hip flexion, you'll be better off on an H3 fit. So we're moving further away from this man-woman bike thing and a lot more into fit. What I'm aiming to do is try and get his knee, centre of knee, over that pedal spindle. We've adjusted his cleats as good as we can to where they need to be. I take a reference point for the centre of his knee, which is this little lump here.
And where my pedal cleats need to be essentially is in the centre of my foot.
Yeah, we've adjusted those cleats. So we found the centre of your foot by how we've done that is we've located your first met head, which is that sort of knuckle for the big toe, and we've gone 5 mil back from there. And the reasoning behind that is it puts the centre of the cleat in the middle of your foot rather than on that pressure point at the big toe. You want all your power going through the centre of your foot rather than forward at that point. So ideally, I'm going to bring you a little bit forward on the saddle by moving your saddle forward. But bringing him down, it's not affecting his knee tracking. They're not coming out at the top of the stroke or anything. I've got Tony's sort of leg extension near the pedal roughly where I want it, really. It's a nice sort of balance between left and right side. So now I'm just going to check his saddle height, that it's in his correct sort of height, really, for his hamstring range and hip range. So, and if you could just bring your right leg down to the bottom of the stroke. I want to maintain this ankling angle here. And to measure this angle, I use certain reference points here. So this is a lot easier if he wears lycra shorts, because you can see the point, but I can actually feel it really well on him. It's quite good. So that's the centre of his knee. I'm trying to find the centre of his hip here. There it is. To centre of the ankle. Okay. Just going to measure your bar drop in relation to middle of his saddle. Is it 4 centimetres, which is well within the height range I want to be for his flexibility. His knees do come in a little bit to the top tube, and a little bit of wedging on the inside of his shoes could help with that problem. But essentially we've got the back end of the bike where we want to be, so we're just going to play around with the front end.
The drops are pretty comfortable, actually.
Yeah, your knee is just starting to come out.
Right.
So we're just on the edge of your hip flexion range when you do that. So I am going to bring you up just a touch and possibly back a little bit, and that'll probably be ballpark of where we want to be with you. Saddle height was pretty much spot on or similar to what he had. We haven't played around with that much. We have moved his saddle forward a bit to get his knee over pedal in a better range. He has got discrepancies between left and right hand side. So we've tried to find a balance between those two sides, and it's in the area where I want it to be for his hamstring range and his hip range. The front of the bike, again, Tony's got a tendency to lock out his elbows. He just naturally does that anyway, so he's going to try and ride a bit with the bend. And he has actually been riding a bit of sort of core exercise as well. Greatly improves the power going to the pedals, really. And his back shape has definitely improved. It's flattened out a lot. There's a little bit of a bend there on his other bike, so we've straightened that out. You're feeling comfortable at the front?
Yeah, I mean, as you were saying, the major improvements for me in terms of the bike are the cranks and the
crank length and the bar width, that we went from a 42 to a 38. It's a massive difference. If you were just a general rider, I'd probably bring you up a little bit more for comfort, but you are going to be riding longer miles, and you do want a reasonable pace, and you have got the flexibility to go lower and longer anyway. And possibly play around with the shoes as well. I'll probably get you in a different shoe just to give us more cleat adjustment. I'm quite restricted of where I can get that cleat on that shoe. But that's just me being fussy, really. But I'm happy with this fit now.
All right, great.
And we'll come back 3 months, see how it works.